Hello and welcome to my individual practical assignment 1 on individual sports. The two sports I will be talking about today are badminton and squash. Badminton. Backhand shorthand serve. This serve is performed by the server using the backhand motion to gently hit the shuttlecock to the front of the opponent's court. This could be performed if the opponent is standing near the back of the court and so they might struggle to get forward in order to return the serve. This would also be a reason that the performer should use the serve rather than a deep serve. Also, the server might perform this in hoping that the opponent returns the shot, but they do it relatively awkwardly, meaning the original server can have an easy shot to win themselves a point. Forehand high deep serve. This is another serve that is when the performer uses the forehand motion in order to hit the shuttlecock high and hard so that it reaches the back of the court. The performer might use this serve if their opponent is at the front of the court so that they can hit the shuttlecock over the top of their performer and try to get it to land right at the back of the court. Also, if the performer is at the front of the court, then they are likely to struggle to return the shuttlecock, meaning that the server should be able to should be able to hit the shuttlecock hard into the floor and potentially win a point. Backhand high deep serve. This serve is performed by the performer using the backhand motion to hit the shuttlecock hard and to the back of the court. The aim of this serve is to hit the shuttlecock up and over the opponent in order to provide them with a difficult return shot, which will put them on the back foot and potentially give the server a point if they miss or mishit the shuttlecock. Forehand shorthand serve. This is the last of the different ways to serve in badminton. It is done by the performer using forehand motion to hit the shuttlecock gently over the net, and so it lands at the very front of the court. This shot might be used when the opponent is near the back of the court, or maybe if they are not particularly ready for the shot. For example, if they are not fully concentrating or they are off balance. Overhead clear shot. This is a return shot in which the performer hits the shuttlecock hard and over the top of the performer to hit the back of the court. The racket will come over the performer's head and hit the shuttlecock while it is in the air. This shot is often done to try to give the opposition a difficult return hit, or if they are near the front of the court, because they are likely to struggle to get back and hit the shuttlecock. Also, if the performer is struggling to keep the shuttlecock in the air, maybe due to a number of drop shots or other difficult to return shots being played, then the overhead clear shot is a good shot to play so they can give themselves some time to regain balance or positioning so that they can get the game back under their control. Underhand clear shot. Similarly to the overhead clear shot, this shot is when the performer hits the shuttlecock hard and high to the back of the court over the opponent's head. However, this shot is performed by swinging the racket low and then hit the shuttlecock high. This shot has the same motives as the overhead clear shot. The smash. This shot is performed by the performer hitting the shuttlecock from high to low over the net and aiming to make the shuttlecock hit the floor before the opposition can get to it. This shot requires a lot of power in order for the shuttlecock to have a higher chance of hitting the floor before the opponent can return it. This shot is an attacking shot because its aim is to try to win the point. However, the opponent may be able to counter-attack and win a point for themselves if they are able to return the shot due to the fact that the performer who used smash shot is likely to be off balance or quite near the front of the court. Underhand drop shot. The underhand drop shot is when the performer gently returns the shuttlecock with an underhand swing and aims for the shuttlecock to only just go over the net and land right at the front of the court. This is an attacking shot because the aim of it is to catch the opposition off guard. For example, the opposition might be near the back of the court expecting a clear shot or something similar, but then the performer could quickly change the shot and drop the shuttlecock right at the front of the court. Overhead drop shot. This shot is similar to the underhand drop shot because both shots aim for the shuttlecock to only just go over the net and land at the front of the court. However, this is slightly different due to it being an overhead swing over the racket to tap the shuttlecock from high to low with little power. This is relatively similar to the smash, but it requires less power and more accuracy, otherwise the opponent might be able to return it easier. Block shot. The block shot is the last of the skills for badminton. It is a defensive shot that requires the performer to almost hold the racket up in order to block a powerful shot from their opponent. The opponent, however, is likely to return a shuttlecock easily, meaning that the performer will have to set themselves up for a normal shot as the block shot is not at all effective. That is the last of my 10 skills in badminton. Now I'll go through 10 skills in squash. Squash, forehand serve. The forehand serve is the easiest and most common serve in squash. It involves the performer standing in the small box, the serving box, and they could hit the ball with a forehand motion without bounce against the back wall, below the top line but above the middle line, so that it lands in the opposition's large box and it hits the side wall, then below the red line of the side wall. Backhand serve. This is the other serve that high-level, more confident squash players might do at times on specific sides of the court from where they are serving. It involves the performer doing the exact same thing as they would with the forehand serve, however they use the backhand motion to hit the ball. Forehand straight drive. This shot would be performed during the rally, and it is an attacking shot. It involves the ball rebounding off of the back wall from the opposition shot and being near the right side of the ball if the performer is right-handed. And then the performer hits the ball straight and hard, and they aim to keep the ball tight to the wall. When it hits the back wall and rebounds back, this makes it difficult for the opposition to then hit the ball back, as it is too close to the wall and they are likely to hit the racket on the wall. Backhand straight drive. This shot is the same as the forehand straight drive, as the performer should be aiming to return the opposition's shot along the surface of the wall so that when it hits the back wall and comes back, it stays flat with the wall. However, this shot would be performed with the performer's backhand, which would be against the left side of the wall if they are right-handed. Bow shot. A bow shot is a common skill shot used in the game, which is mainly due to the fact that it is effective in its use. This shot involves the performer hitting the ball so that it hits the side wall, then the back wall. This might confuse the opposition slightly and make them run towards the area where the ball was originally hit towards. However, due to the fact that the ball hits the back wall, then the ball would actually end up on the other side of the court. This shot is usually used as an attacking shot. Drop shot. The drop shot is a similar shot to a drop shot in badminton. This is when the performer hits the ball quite lightly so that the ball hits the back wall and then drops to the floor near the back wall, which allows for a lower chance that the opposition will be able to return it. This is another attacking shot, as it is often used to win the point and end the rally. The drop shot might be used over a kill shot if the performer is quite close to the back wall so that it's difficult to hit the ball hard and low against the back wall. Lob shot. The lob shot could be used as a defensive shot and an attacking shot during the game. The lob shot is performed by the performer being quite close to the back wall and hitting the ball quite high and relatively hard up the wall, so it travels up and over the opposition, trying to bounce just before hitting the back wall. In an offensive shot, the performer would be trying to make it land in the back corner of the court, so that it is difficult for the opposition to return the shot. However, for a defensive shot, the performer would just be trying to get the ball high enough so that the opposition has a bit of a difficult shot returning the ball, so that the performer has enough time to get into a good position on the court. The lob shot might be used instead of a kill shot because it is easier to keep the ball within the red lines, while performing the lob shot rather than a kill shot. Cross-court drive. A cross-court drive is a difficult shot to play. However, if performed correctly, it can be extremely effective in winning points for the performer. This shot is performed when the ball is in the back of the court and the performer hits the ball across the court diagonally so that it hits the side wall and back wall and stops near the front corner of the court. This will hopefully make it difficult for the opposition to return the shot. This shot could be performed instead of a straight drive so that they can try to get the ball as far away from the opposing player as possible. Volley. A volley shot is when the performer returns the opposition's previous shot or serve by hitting the ball hard before it bounces. This could allow for the performer to get more power on their shot, which means that the opponent is less likely to be able to return it, or they might be able to return it, but they could give the performer an easy shot afterwards. This shot could be used instead of a boast shot because the performer can return the shot quicker and with more power, meaning that they have a good chance of scoring a point. Kill shot. A kill shot is a difficult shot to perform, but is an extremely effective shot as well. It involves the performer returning the ball hard and low against the back wall so that it hits the ball just above the bottom red line on the back wall. As it comes back off of the wall, it will not bounce very high back up, which makes it difficult for the opponent to return it or keep the rally going. This shot might be used instead of a boast shot to give the performer a better chance of winning the point. This shot is still quite difficult to perform though, because the performer has to hit the ball low enough to make sure it doesn't bounce back up too high, but has to hit it hard enough so that it doesn't hit under the red line and gives the opposition a point. Thank you, and that's the end of my presentation.